Alright, what's up everybody? Welcome to another episode here on Vivid Iceland. Today I'm going on another adventure into the Highlands with the goal of reaching Langisjór. Now Langisjór is a huge lake located roughly here, close to the Vatnajökull glacier, and it's a very long lake, hence the name Langisjór, or the Long Sea. It goes for about 20 kilometers long, with its widest point being about 2 kilometers. So the plan is to drive in, hopefully stop at maybe 1 or 2 waterfalls along the way, check out some volcanic formations, and hopefully we can reach Langisjór today. So with that said, let's hit the road. Since we've only had a few good days of weather so far this summer, I made the most of it and went straight back into the Highlands. I took road 208 up past Hólaskjól, which I featured in a previous episode. Hólaskjól is a small campsite located next to an amazing waterfall, and it's a good place to visit and stay before venturing further into the Highlands. Check out the link up top to watch the rest of that episode. After driving past Hólaskjól, I made my way further into the wilderness, taking a quick stop by this lovely stream and small waterfall. From here, the road only got rougher, but at least I met some furry travel companions as I drove through. Rightio, my first proper stop of the day is at Eldgjá, and this was the site of a colossal eruption just a little over 1,000 years ago. And yeah, what we have here is a nice waterfall. Some, of course, beautiful volcanic features. I'm hoping to find a good spot to fly the drone up and, yeah, shoot a bit of that. Otherwise, it's just nice to walk around. Honestly, the weather is perfect for hiking. No wind, coolish. The only problem is there are a ton of little flies buzzing around, and they do like to go into your ears and into your eyes. So, kind of wish we had a bit of a breeze just to sort of blow them away, but, well, what can you do here in Iceland? It's always nice to not have a bit of wind. Anyway, let's keep hiking. Depending on the road conditions, it should take you roughly 30 to 40 minutes to reach the parking lot for Eldgjá, where there is a small ranger house as well as a public toilet for your convenience. Now, regarding the hiking trail, it's honestly quite easy, and it only takes approximately 30 minutes or so to reach the waterfall located towards the end of this volcanic rift. Another stunning location to walk around, with plenty to see here, including this colossal rock slide that occurred on this spot back in 2011. Yeah, pretty glad I wasn't there for that.
It's too hot. Can't believe it. Kind of wish we had a bit of wind now, just to cool me down a bit.
Now, as you near the waterfall, the stream gets wider and wider, and the trail gets a bit narrower, yet more colourful, owing to the red volcanic rock located high up on the edges of the fissure here. This red coloration is likely due to the iron content of the rocks, and this type of rock is usually called scoria. Bear in mind that I am no geologist, so please let me know in the comments below if I'm mistaken.
Okay, so there appears to be 2 ways to hike to this waterfall named Ófærufoss. Gosh, I hope I pronounced that one correctly. Anyway, I took the lower path, which leads you basically along the bottom of this volcanic fissure, which is Eldgjá. There appears to be another hiking trail, if you can see, just up there, following that route, and you probably just go along the ridgeline of the volcanic fissure. So I'd say the ridgeline one is probably a little bit more scenic. I took the easy route today. I got a lot of things to do, so I wanted to get this waterfall as fast as possible. Anyway, let's check it out.
So roughly translated to English, Ófærufoss means the impassable waterfall, and well, as you can see here, it is a multi-tiered waterfall falling over 40 meters in 2 separate cascades. Up until the 1990s, there used to be a small natural stone bridge that in fact went over the lower cascade, but well, unfortunately has since collapsed, with many people attributing natural erosion as well as possible earthquakes being the culprit. It is, however, still possible to hike up a bit closer to the falls, but I opted against it this time as I had places to go and things to see.
Okay, on my way to Langisjór now. I had to pull over here next to what I believe is called Skuggafjöll. There's a little sign just over there. You can probably see why. There's this beautiful neon green moss just there on the side of an old rocky volcanic hillside. And as you can see, there is a beautiful stream sort of flowing through it and yeah, watering the grounds around here. Beautiful little spot to stop. I think I might try and get a little bit closer. Looks like to be a small walking trail just there. Of course, most of the land here is covered in moss, so yeah, try to avoid walking on that as much as possible because it is very delicate and it takes decades to regrow. Anyway, let's go check this out.
I couldn't find much about this little spot while researching this video, so if anyone does know a bit more about it, then drop a comment below. Anyway, it's a very picturesque place to be. Beautiful on a summer day just like this, and I would certainly like to have a picnic here one day, but for now I had to continue further into the Highlands. The landscapes change dramatically as you venture further and further into the interior. What starts as grassy farmlands on the edge of the Highlands eventually gives way to rocky mounds and green moss, like we saw just before, which then become rolling hills of moss and grass littered with the odd volcanic rock formation just sticking out of the middle of nowhere, really. It's truly an incredible place to drive through. After turning off the F208 and heading northeast on the F235, I left the greenery behind me and entered a rocky Martian landscape as I drove towards Langisjór.
Alright, well, finally made it to Langisjór. It's a bit windier out here than in some of the other places that I've been earlier today. But yeah, regardless, it's pretty nice. I've seen this on Instagram and in you know, other YouTube videos over the last couple of years. So it's great to finally be out here and just marveling at the landscape. It's really something else, you know. Once you've been into the Highlands, it's quite addictive. You keep wanting to go back again and again and again. And yeah, every time I'm out here, I'm always surprised at just how beautiful the landscape is and just how varied it is too from each part of the Highlands that I've been. Yeah, it's really something else. I've also noticed just down here, there's a little fishing hut and you can actually rent it if you want to camp there or you know, stay the night. So I'll put the details to that in the video description if you're interested in doing something like this, but I suspect it's probably only accessible during the summer months. Unless you have a really good modified 4x4, you can probably make it out here in the winter. So I think once the wind dies down a little bit, I might shoot the drone up and yeah, get some amazing footage out here. Stay tuned.
Langisjór was formed during the Ice Age many thousands of years ago by a subglacial eruption. Since then, the glaciers have of course retreated and the lake is now fed by countless springs and streams that give it some of the clearest waters in the entire country. The lake is 670 meters above sea level with a maximum depth of 75 meters and offers some great hiking trails on the peaks that surround it. Keep in mind though, it's located very far from civilization and there is no mobile phone service in this area, so make sure you come prepared for the journey. There is, however, a ranger station right before you reach the lake shore, but this is only manned for a few hours per day during the summer months. Right, so I've just left Langisjór and I'm taking another route known as Breiðbakur. It sort of runs along the northeastern shore, but on the other side of the mountains of Langisjór. So I'm going to check it out. I had a chat with one of the rangers that was there, and she was saying there was a really big snowbank sort of blocking the way in. So I'm going to give it a shot. If it looks too sketch, we might just turn around and head back. But anyway, let's see what it looks like. So in the end, I didn't drive all the way along this road known as Breiðbakur. Instead, I opted to shoot the drone up to get a bird's eye view of where I was heading. And well, I could see that the road kept on going for quite some distance and the desolate landscape stayed, well, relatively same along the way. Since I was to be headed further and further from civilization all alone, I decided against going all the way in case something happened to my car and I was stranded out here. Anyway, I'm glad I stopped where I did though, because the view of Langisjór from above was far superior to when I was flying around at the lake itself. And if you look carefully, you can even make out the edge of Vatnajökull on the horizon, just here on the left side. Simply amazing. I headed back to the intersection between Breiðbakur and F235 to see if I could take a slight detour westward along the road known as Faxasund. I could see from some satellite maps that it would eventually connect back up to the F208, so I tried my luck at it.
Okay, so I took that Faxasund route and come to my first obstacle here. Looks like quite a deep ford that I'm going to have to try and pass, but I'm thinking against it honestly. It doesn't look too deep, but I feel myself sinking already just in my rubber boots here. So I don't think, oh yeah, this is actually a lot deeper than I thought it was. So, all right, this is going to have to wait until next time when I have someone here with me. So in case I get stuck, I'm not lost in the river. So stay tuned for that one. Anyway, let's get back on the road and we'll see if we can continue our journey into the Highlands.
It was, well, quite the scenic area. Lots of greenery around the streams and pools, and I think I spotted what looked to be a fishing cabin of some sort just over the ford. This will definitely be a place to explore next summer.
Right, so I thought rather than making the return journey and just doubling back all the way through Vik and then eventually back to my place, I think I'm going to try taking the rest of this Fjallabak niðri and trying to do a full loop going around the top side of Mýrdalsjökull and eventually making it to Landmannalaugar, connecting back up to the main roads and then back to my place after that. So, never done it before. We'll see how far we can get. We've got a couple of big river crossings to do, so we're just coming up to one now. Let's see how we go.
Now I gotta say, I was worried about the river crossings since it had been raining quite a bit the week before I came here, but fortunately for me they weren't very deep, and I did notice a few cars with less clearance than my own driving in the opposite direction. So I figured if they could do it, then so could I. Now in some rivers of the Highlands, rangers will put up sticks and string red flags along them to guide you along the best path to take when crossing the stream, so make sure you follow them. You can see the red flags here, as well as one section of the river which got deep suddenly and caught me by surprise. If I were driving any faster, I'm sure water would have washed over the hood of the car and possibly killed the engine. Driving through this part of the country, I had to keep one eye on the road and the other on the breathtaking scenery outside. The interplay of colours here is nothing short of spectacular. I've never seen such a variety of different coloured mosses, grasses and rocks all in one place. And sure enough, driving around each bend, you'll find something that's even more beautiful than the place just before it.
Wow, just when I thought the Highlands couldn't get any better, just come around the corner, see these multicolored volcanic hills just behind me here. Really, well, I don't even know what to say. Really cool. I think I'm going to shoot the drone up and see what I can find up there.
I had to do a bit of searching online to find the name of this mountain, which appears to be called Armur. It has a height of 900 meters and is made of rhyolite, which is a volcanic rock found in the mountains all over this part of the country. And it is what gives the famous hiking area of Landmannalaugar its vivid and iconic coloration.
So I think I'm more or less on the home stretch. Basically from here on out, I've seen a lot of this Highland stuff, and that was in another video, I think it was summer last year. So I'll pop a link to that, of course, in the description as usual. Making a quick stop here at Stútur, which is an old volcanic crater. I think it's one of those scoria craters. I'm not too sure where the hiking trail is leading me. Just gonna have a bit of a walk around, see what I can find. If it's not too interesting, I think I'll jump back in the car and keep heading home.
Now, I couldn't really find much info about this particular crater, but it is a very easy hike, and along the way there is a nice view over the nearby mossy lava field and of course some beautiful red rocks. Once you reach the crater rim, you have a wonderful 360-degree panoramic view over the surrounding area.
Wow, what a crazy view this is. So I think Landmannalaugar is an episode in and of itself. I'll have to come back, not too sure, maybe one of my next days off. Go check out Landmannalaugar, do a couple hikes around there. It is super popular, but beware that as of, I think it was the beginning of this summer, they're now starting to charge for parking. So if you do plan to go, make sure you book ahead of time. I think now, just going to continue my walk around this beautiful red crater, head down, jump back in the car, and continue my way home. It's getting, well, not too late. It's only about 6:30, but I've been up since probably about 6 this morning. So yeah, let's get back to the car.
Of course, I had to fly the drone up and get some aerial footage of this little crater and the surrounding mossy lava fields. And well, while I was airborne, I also flew over the nearby lake known as Frostastaðavatn. Yeah, tricky one to say. But this lake is unique in the fact that it has an ancient lava flow known as Námshraun on its southern edge. This is likely from an eruption many hundreds of years ago, and well, this lava brought up minerals from the Earth's core and deposited it into the lake, giving it the blue-green hue that you see here today. With all my drone batteries nearly exhausted now, I jumped back into the car and I continued my journey home. Along the way, I was blessed again with a little bit of blue sky before it started to cloud over and begin to drizzle. As I was reaching the end point of the gravel road, I got to pass through this otherworldly sandy lava field, which is close to the notorious volcano known as Hekla, which I've of course featured in an older episode. Very cool place to drive through, but also very rough, so take care when making your way through here. Okay, well, I've successfully made it out the other side. I've just finished pumping up the tires on my car. I'm about ready to hit the asphalt once again. A bit sick of all the bumps and the corrugated dirt roads in this area, so I'm glad to get on some nice smooth asphalt. Anyway, I'll give you a quick look. Basically, the route I took today, of course, started down in Vík, then I followed the 208 all the way up past Hólaskjól, popped into Langisjór there, and then followed the Fjallabak niðri. I skipped going over 208 as you see here because I've already done that in a previous episode, but instead I took the 225 all the way through here, and currently I'm standing just about here. Búrfell is just over there, shrouded in clouds. So what started as a beautiful day to hike, of course, has ended with clouds and rain and wind and everything like that. Very typical Icelandic weather. But what can I say? It was a fun day, and I think I'm going to basically wrap the episode up here. So if you liked what you saw, of course, don't forget to comment, subscribe, like, all that good stuff. And if you ever want to come visit Iceland, please get in touch. You can jump on my website. I've got a whole bunch of links there. I'm happy to do itinerary consultations, plan your itineraries, even do glacier tours, that kind of thing too. So jump on my website, check it out. Also, I'll mention this now before I forget, I also have a Patreon too. So if you're wanting to maybe help me out on my adventures here in Iceland, don't forget to jump on there, maybe chuck me a couple of dollars. But anyway, let's wrap it up here. Thank you for watching once again, and I'll see you in the next episode. More info about my Patreon can be found in the links below. Thanks to everyone for the support. It really helps me out a lot here on my adventures. I really hope to see you all in Iceland one day.